What's up, you guys? It's Lily. I'm hopping on here today because I guess I just wanted to have a conversation, kind of with myself because I'm the only one here. But I've been kind of quiet on social media recently, and it's kind of just been an own personal kind of thing, just me going through life, figuring out things I want to do with my life, and hitting 30 was quite an interesting thing. I don't know if anyone else believes in astrology, but like Saturn's return is when you turn 29. So that's, I guess, when Saturn comes back around in its orbit, um, like in your life. So I think the last like 2 years of my life has been absolutely insane. um, Meeting the love of my life, moving in with him. We bought a house. We're finding, happiness in each other and in our life together. And it hasn't always been perfect. But honestly, that's not what I'm here to talk about today. What I'm really here to talk about is last year I had a breast augmentation, the first surgery in my step towards my transition. First of all, just want to say it's not required for someone to have surgery to be trans. It's not required for someone to start medically transitioning to be trans. I think being trans is just living your own life and living the way that you want to live, without any sort of anything holding you back from yourself. um and cis people may feel that way as well, and more power to you. um Not all of us are gifted with really just being happy with what we have, what we're given. And I feel like I'm kind of digging myself into a deeper hole here, but essentially what I'm trying to say is I had my breast augmentation last year, and it really kind of changed a lot of things for me. First of all, it did really feel like I had crossed a finish line. I finally hit a certain point in my transition where I felt like this is actually, I crossed that line. I did the thing. Look, I did the thing. So it was very that. um, and like and then to go through the healing process, to have some little complications with a supposed infection. It wasn't totally clear to me whether or not it was an infection, um, but eventually, after the 1 year mark in June, um, I went to my doctor, did the 1 year post-op appointment, and she had finally said, "This is capsular contracture." If you guys don't know what that is, essentially the scar tissue around the implant has become more thick. It's has a tighter hold around the implant, and it could cause more buildup of scar tissue around the implant, therefore misshaping it, or causing it to, it could get, really bad down the line, and it could, start leaking. Because of the scar tissue, it can start to squeeze the implant and then therefore popping it and causing leakage. Which of course we don't want. I don't want silicone floating around in my body. I'd rather keep it contained in the implant. So essentially, that's what happened. 1 year post-op with my previous doctor, the original doctor, and they finally said, "This is capsular contracture. We can either operate on it and remove it, and put in a different implant, and then you're hopefully you don't have this issue again." Um, and it just never really felt like I was fully taken care of, with that previous doctor, and it wasn't always I wasn't always talking to my actual surgeon, when I would have these appointments, just because I didn't really feel honestly as comfortable. With him, per se. And it wasn't really anything in specific that he did. It was just, I'm very much a person that's about vibes and like how I feel around you. And I've never really felt comfortable around him. And maybe it was a bad decision on my part to, have the surgery to begin with him. I should have, kept looking. That's something I kind of regret. But I'm also kind of one of those people that like, I don't really have regrets. I do have things that I wish I could have changed or done differently, but um, I don't really regret anything. I don't think. I feel like if I do start to regret things, I think that could really feed into, self reassurance and just being comfortable in my own skin, which is something that I already kind of touched on earlier. Um, so, capsular contracture, they diagnosed it finally, and then every time that I would have a meeting with the surgeon, I was meeting with someone that he actually worked closely with, a woman, and she was very nice. I did have a good time with her. We'd always laugh. It did feel very, I guess, comforting, but also in a very like strict, like very clinical kind of way. I don't really know how else to explain it. It's not like they were rude or mean to me or said things that made me feel uncomfortable. It's just vibes. And if you get it, you get it. If you don't, then I'm sorry. I don't know how else to explain it. But so after finding that out in June, it's over 2 months now. So it's been a year and 2 months since I had them done. And, I can't always, I feel like I'm not comfortable. Like, I don't feel like it hurts or anything if, like, I'm wearing, like, a sports bra or something. If I'm wearing, like, a regular bra, it'd be fine for, like, a little while. But some of the bras that I've gotten don't totally fit me 100%. And I think that is because maybe the size that I got, or because it's supposed to be a C, but it doesn't fill a C cup. Like, I don't. Bras are hard. I get it, girls. I get it. Bras are really fucking hard to find a good bra that really pushes them up and gives you the cleavage that you want, but is still comfortable. Like, it's. I feel like I see a lot of ads all over Facebook and Instagram all the time about bras and like things that look and feel comfortable, but like push them up to your chin. That's what I want, of course, but um, regardless of that, going back to my story. Um, so I'm just kind of going through the motions here. So that happened in June. And then after that, they had, reach out to me, and I had, more questions in my head that I didn't have when I was there. I did a virtual meeting with the lady doctor. I'm sorry, I'm blanking on her name. I'm so bad with names. If you guys know me, I'm so bad with names. Like, no matter how many times I meet you, I'm probably not gonna remember your name, and it's my bad. I should try harder, but I also like. I feel like I get so sucked up into what I'm dealing with, and what maybe it's a selfish thing, maybe it's a self mechanism, or like some sort of like behavior that I've learned over the last 10 plus years of being an adult, is self preservation is more important than, I guess, whatever else. And that does feel kind of gross to say, but I feel like if you're honest with it and you put it up front, that maybe someone will be more willing to remind you of something, or give you the hints that you should care about this, or I don't know. I feel like I've dug so many holes here. And kind of just looked at them and then just like let them sit there. So I guess if you guys want to talk more about it, feel free to comment on this video. We're already 10 minutes in, and I haven't really gotten to the good news. Um, and so anyway, I had a follow-up virtual appointment with the female surgeon that works with the surgeon that actually did my breast. And I'd asked more questions about capsular contracture. I asked about like if we remove both, could we upsize? Like I do want to feel a little more full at the top. And that's just my personal preference. I believe and think that because I am taller, over 6 foot, that maybe I should have like a D, not just a small C. And that's just my personal preference. Not totally required in this regard. Um, and, that's probably not medically necessary that I replace both. But I think in order for the symmetry to be even more symmetrical, it's best to remove both and then replace them. She had said that it feels like I have enough of a pocket to upsize, and when they're removed, it should, I guess, allow for more space to be. It could stretch more, I guess, or something. But anyway, I did meet with another doctor today, and she is a lot closer to where I am now. In case you guys don't know, I live on the west side of the cities now, no longer in St. Paul or Minneapolis, but way over like west of St. Louis Park. So a little further away from the original surgeon, which is in St. Paul, back where I lived in last year. But of course, I wanted to find someone that was a little closer because one, I don't want to be sitting in a car for an hour after surgery. Like, I just want to like come home and relax. Like, I don't want to like be sitting in the car waiting to be home so that I can just relax and try not to think about the pain. Which, in all honesty, really wasn't that painful. Just don't move, which is hard for some people. I'm kind of a lazy person, so like I like to just not do anything. But I also was very stiff, very wanted to move around. I was very stir crazy the last few weeks of recovery, and I was off of work for almost a month, which she had said probably not needed this time. Um, so I'm hoping that maybe it would be no more than 3 weeks off, which is honestly ideal, because of the house, and I want to be able to pull my own weight and all those things. So met with the doctors today. Dr. Peng, an SP plastic surgery here in Excelsior, and she was really kind, very nice, very knowledgeable, and she, I think, gave a lot more warmth and a lot more care, I guess, in what she's doing compared to the previous doctor. Nothing against the female surgeon that I had, of course. She's a very nice lady, and I love her. But I was not really feeling like I was fully being taken care of during that time, and I really needed someone who I guess understood where I was coming from and wasn't just another person on the operating table, because that's really what it felt like. And that's really sad. I would say if you're a surgeon, if you're someone who is giving someone a life changing surgery, whether it be on their own accord or because they have to, like, I would think you would want to be a little more softer, warmer, um, just different, I guess. And I had even told the Dr. Peng that I had felt very much like she actually really cared about what I was going through and wanted to provide a solution that could help with my confidence, and not only my health, but of course, my confidence and how I feel in my own body and my own skin. And we are going to. They took pictures. She examined me. Um, we had talked a lot about capsular contracture and what it means, and about upsizing if that is something that we decide to do. Um, I think I want to for sure. I know a lot of people who have, see me in dressing rooms or whatever at shows are always amazed or are very appreciative of what I had done. I, of course, am not, but and it's not, of course, his fault. It's just my body rejecting it or healing a certain way that's not beneficial to me and could cause issues down the line. So, um, yeah, if you guys have any questions or I guess want to talk about this more, feel free to reach out to me. My inbox is open. I feel like I left a lot of things on the table here. I think I feel like I'm coming from a good place, and if there's anything that I feel or that you feel I should have not said, or I said the wrong way, or whatever, I guess let me know, and um, yeah. Um, Good Lord, you guys, this was really difficult. So thank you so much for tuning in, and I love you. I'll talk to you guys later.